Yeah, the boy will come. Acha, come here. What I want to do is says that girl has been done, the girl has been done, the little girl has been done.
Oh, yes,
Done.
yes.
I just asked, I just tell you what is to be done. Yes. See, the little girl is done.
Yes, ma'am.
A truly beautiful mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Rain on the roof.
Yes, ma'am.
The lake Isle of Ministry.
No, ma'am.
I did. Lake Isle of Ministry, I did.
No, ma'am.
I did with you that day. I did. Were you absent last time? No.
Yes, ma'am. I was absent.
You were absent last time? No. You were not absent last time.
Yes.
It's about that fellow who goes to that ministry, wants to grow minds.
Last time we did Kingdom and Fools.
Huh?
Kingdom and Fools.
What?
Kingdom of Fools.
No, that was long ago. Yes, you open up and see I've done ministry with you. The adventures of Toto.
Yes, ma'am.
Done. All okay. Okay. I later I ministry I did with you. You were actually last Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
That new boy was there.
Yes, ma'am.
You were there, no?
No, ma'am. I was.
I think this late night ministry is very much not to be to the other boy. What shall we do today? The Kingdom of Fools we finished.
Yes, ma'am. Disney camera.
I didn't hear you.
Disney camera or my channel.
The snake and the mirror.
Yes,
Take that. The last lake is also there. Okay, not the phone. Yeah. This boy was last time he was absent, no? Last time you were absent?
No, I was present.
Who was absent?
One was.
He was absent. So we did late back in this way we did, no?
Yes.
I did it, no? That's it. The other boy was there also.
Yeah, I.
Yeah, he was there, but he was only coming along. So then, the snake and the mirror. So what shall we do then today? See, the snake and the mirror. Okay. Either we do snake and the mirror or we do a happy prince, the happy prince. Why did you done it in school with you? Yeah? You always.
Yeah, saving the mirror is going on.
It's going on, no? So then we do snake and the mirror. Till only 2 or 3 years around. I forgot, huh? Snake and the mirror. Okay. Shall we wait for that boy or what? Last time we can keep it late. At daytime ministry, your teacher is in school. Not in school, not in school. No, but she's going to do. Okay, so we start. The snake and the mirror. Do you like to look at yourself in the mirror? What do you think about at such times? Have you ever seen a dog, a cat, or a bird look into a mirror? What do you think it sees? Now read the humorous story about a doctor, a snake, and a mirror. Now, has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra? All of us fell silent. The question came from the homeopath. Homeopath is what? Doctor who does homeopathy. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with his tale. It was a hot summer night. About 10 o'clock. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my home. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. The sound was a familiar one. No one could say that the rats and I shared the room. Rats and I shared the room is what?
It's many rats.
There were rats in this house. It was such a poor accommodation. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. Obviously, it's a pure house, no electricity. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. Meager means what? Very small. Small income here. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase, along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitary black coat, which I was then wearing. Solitary means only one black coat, which she was wearing. I took off my black coat, my white shirt, and not so white vest. Vest is what? And hung them up. Vest is a banyan which you wear inside, that's called vest. And it was not so white, meaning it was a little bit off color. And I hung them up. I opened the 2 windows in my room. It was an outer room with one small hall facing the open yard. I had a tile roof with long supporting gables. Can you see the gables? They show you what the gable is in the movie, in the picture. Okay, that triangular portion. It had a tile roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the wall. There was no ceiling. there was regular traffic of flats to and fro from the wing. I mean, they were running up and down. They were running up and down. I made my bed and put it close to the wall. I made my bed means what? I made my bed. How do you make a bed? How do you make a bed?
Putting the mattress.
He put the mattress, then he put a bed sheet, then he put a pillowcase. He made it comfortable. He made it ready for sleep. I made my bed and pulled it close to the wall. I lay down, but I could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air. But the wind god seemed to have taken time off. Wind god seemed to have taken time off means what?
It is no wind.
There was no wind. The wind god had not sent the wind. I went back into because there's no electricity, no. So there's no fan, and he was waiting for nature. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica, meaning that's the name of a medical manual. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near one. Naturally, when you approach a mirror, you get tempted to look into the mirror. I took a look. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty, and I believed in making myself look handsome. I was unmarried, and I was a doctor. So he says he was very eligible. I'm married and a doctor. People don't want to marry such type of people. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. So he's trying to make himself look attractive for himself. He's all alone out for himself. Again, I heard that sound from above. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor, so people will be looking at me, so I've got to make myself look handsome. I looked into the mirror and I smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth-shaking decision. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face to look more handsome. He said, I will always smile because the more I smile, the more handsome I will look. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor too on top of it. But again came that noise from above. I got up. I paced up and down the room. Paced up and down the room means what? Walk slowly up and down the room. Okay? Walking slowly up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me. I would marry. I would get married to a woman doctor who had plenty of money and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a valid reason. If I made some silly mistake and needed to run away, she should not be able to run after me and catch me. So see, he's just making fun of the situation. He said, get married to a very rich lady, and she has to be a doctor, but she has to be very, very fat. Right? Because in case I make a mistake, she won't be able to run and catch me and hammer me. With such thoughts in my mind, I resumed my seat in the chair in front of the table. There was no more sounds from above. Suddenly there came a low, dull thud, as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. Thud, a dull noise. Surely nothing to worry about. Even so, I thought I would turn around and take a look. So he said, there's nothing much to worry about. Still I wanted to look. Let me go and see what it is. No sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. My God, it has fallen and has come on his shoulder. The snake's landing on me and my turning was simultaneously. He turned and the snake landed on it. Both turning and the snake falling on it. Together, it happened together. I didn't jump. I didn't tremble. I didn't cry out. There was no time to do any such thing. The snake slithered. Slithered means moving slowly. The movement of the snake slowly is called slithering. Slithering along my shoulder and coiled around my left arm above the elbow. Here, left arm is called left. Okay, and the arm. The hood was spread out. Okay, it was spread out like that, big hood. And its head was hardly 3 or 4 inches from my face. It would not be correct to say merely that I sat there holding my breath. I was turned to stone. But my mind was very active. The door opened into the darkness. The room was surrounded by darkness. In the light of the lamp, I sat there like a stone image in the flesh. He was a person of flesh, but he sat down like stone. I felt then the great presence of the creator of this world and its universe. In other words, he started wanting God to help him. Only God can help him in a situation like this. God was there. Suppose I said something and he did not like it. I tried my imagination to write in big letters outside my little heart the words, "Oh God." There was some pain in my left arm. It was as if a thick leaden rod, no, a rod made of molten fire, was slowly but powerfully crushing my arm. So that snake was winding itself tighter and tighter, and it was stopping the blood flow. So when the blood flow is stopping, you start having burning sensation. The arm was beginning to be drained of all strength. What could I do? At my slightest movement, the snake would strike me. Death lurked for inches away. Death was hanging around. Death was hanging only 4 inches away from my face. There was death standing there. Lurking means around the place. Suppose it struck. What was the medicine I had to take? There were no medicines in the room. I was but a poor, foolish, and stupid doctor. I forgot my danger and smiled feebly at myself. Before God, there's nothing else to do but just keep on smiling at myself. It seemed as if God appreciated that. The snake turned its head. It looked into the mirror and saw its reflection. I do not claim that it was the first snake that had ever looked into a mirror, but it was certain that the snake was looking into the mirror. Was it admiring its own beauty? Was it trying to make an important decision about growing a mustache or using eyeshadow and mascara or wearing a vermilion spot on its forehead? Vermilion spot on the tikka, okay, on its forehead. I do not know anything for certain. What sex was the snake? Was it male? Was it female? I will never know. For the snake unbound itself from my arm and slowly slithered into my lap. From there it crept onto the table and moved towards the mirror. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy its reflection at close quarters. Close quarters means close by. Mirrors here and the snake very close by, wanted to admire itself. Close by. I was no mere image cut in granite. I was suddenly a man of flesh and blood. As soon as the snake left him, immediately he got his senses back. He didn't become a stone anymore. Immediately became flesh and blood. Alright? And he still was holding his breath. I got up from the chair. I quietly went out through the door into the veranda. From there, I leaped into the yard and ran for all I was worth. And I ran as fast as I could, as far as my legs could carry me, and I ran away from that snake. Phew! Each of us heaved a sigh of relief. Somebody asked, "Doctor, is your wife very fat?" Now, he's telling a story to somebody. So therefore, the person who listened to the story and the doctor put it in that. They were relieved. Each of us heaved a sigh of relief. Somebody asked, "Doctor, is your wife very fat?" "No," the doctor said. "God willed otherwise. My life companion is a thin, greedy person with the gift of a sprinter." Meaning, he said, my wife is a very, very thin person. I wanted to marry a fat wife, but God was willed it otherwise. My life companion, my wife is a thin, greedy person. Thin, greedy person means a person as thin as a reed. Reed is a very thin grass, blade of grass, with the gift of a sprinter. Who's a sprinter? Someone who runs very fast as a sprinter. So I wanted a fat woman who couldn't run. Here God has given me a thin woman who can run very, very fast, sprinter. Somebody else asked, "Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you?" So he's, I think, discussing his experience with the snake in this classroom. So many people are asking him questions. The doctor replied, I ran and ran till I reached a friend's house. Immediately, I smeared oil all over myself and took a bath. I smeared oil means he applied oil. Applied oil. Smearing oil means applying oil over the entire body. And I took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. The next morning at about 8:30, I took my friend and one or two others to my room to move my things from there. So he said, there are snakes in this area, let me take away my things and go and stay somewhere else. He didn't want to stay in the house anymore. But we found we had little to carry. Some thief had removed most of my things. So when he went there to the house, he found that so many things of hers were missing because somebody had stolen his things. The room had been cleaned out, but not really. The thief had left behind one thing as a final insult. What was that? I asked. The doctor said, my vest, the dirty one. The dirty banyan he left there only. The thief did not take that. He took his nice shirt, he took his nice coat, he took everything, dhoti, everything he took. But his dirty banyan he left it there. The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with soap and water. Did you see the snake the next day, doctor? The doctor laughed. I never seen it since. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty, meaning it was attracted by its own beauty. It saw its beauty and it went away. It did not see the snake. Okay. And this is the lesson? Yes. Yeah? Now look through and see whether you have any difficulty, then start answering the questions at the back of the chapter. Read the whole lesson again. What are you doing?
This one.
From the same body meditation. What book is that you're doing?
And
That's what you.
yes.
You're doing exercise, all exercise over?
This one.
The MCQs and all that.
This
What about the review questions? Done over. The review questions, no? Have you done the MCQs?
one.
Okay. Okay, I'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll do the review questions. Okay.